because I want to say it now. That's the stuff. The way Honda should be.
Power dreams.
Power dreams. What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be replacing the valve cover gasket, valve cover on this lovely 2001 Integra GSR, owned by my good friend Akira here. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at what needs to be replaced. This is a real nice set, actually. You can see here, it comes with new gaskets, all new grommets, which most times you won't actually get. These will start to leak over time. Some spark plug tube seals. And in this lovely box, we have a brand new JDM?
Yep,
JDM ITR valve cover. So we're gonna open this up. Let's see what one of these nice things look like, because these are really sick, like really, really sick. But before that, we take a look at this over here. You can see this is starting to get oil on it. You can really see it around here, probably from this grommet, more than likely. They go old, they get old, whatever. They get old, and you need to replace them. So we're gonna go ahead and take this guy off. We're going to get the new valve cover out, get the new gasket in, put some sealant where it needs to go, which we'll show you where, and put that on. So let's go ahead and open up this valve cover. But this is one of the sickest things you can get buy, honestly. Go ahead and get this out of the way.
The what's it called, is in the shadow of the
beautiful.
Let me start over.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. Shadows aren't super relevant. But yeah, so this thing is super sick. We're gonna go ahead and get this out of here real quick. Have you even taken it out of this yet?
Nope.
Nope. Oh. Would you like to be honest?
All that JDM air is still
trapped in here?
Yeah.
We'll probably put your old valve cover right back in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But dude, that is so beautiful.
So good, right?
I love that they did wrinkle red, because like that was a really Ferrari thing.
Yeah.
Not a lot of companies do go through the process of like, cut that open.
I love on the CTR how the OEM strap bar is wrinkle red as well.
Yeah, it's such a really cool little thing. Maybe you can just find one of those, because they're the same as the GSR strap bar, if I remember. Man, these things are beautiful. I used to have one of these.
You did?
Back in the day. Model Sol.
When you were a Honda boy?
Kind of a Honda boy still.
I mean, who's not a Honda boy? Let's be honest.
A lot of people. Beautiful. So this is a brand new, lovely JDM Type R valve cover.
Oh, so good.
This is a little silly fact for you guys. If I remember correctly, the USDM ones, the DOHC was bigger, the VTEC was smaller,
This
which
is
we
correct.
should be able
Yep.
to. Yeah. So you had a much bigger DOHC. The USDM Type R valve cover was the same way too. So little details. We know a lot of dumb little Honda details.
I mean,
we actually reference this a lot in a lot of our videos, is like some of the little stuff we remember from all this type of stuff is a bit silly. But yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get the old one off, get this one prepped to go on. We are going to be pulling this valve cover off. Fortunately, my friend here likes his OEM stuff, so there's not a lot in the way of randomness. So you can see all the spark plug wires have all the correct clips. So putting these back in will not be something you really need to pay too much attention to in terms of order. Go ahead and pull those out. That's good. All right, so then you're just gonna, I usually grab the oil cap, and as you can see, we
came right off.
Loosen out. We're gonna do this. I don't want this leaking on your stuff. Okay.
I appreciate that.
Here we go. So this is what the bottom side of your valve covers normally look like. You have your gaskets, and we also have some old, not quite destroyed yet, but old spark plug tube seals.
Yep.
2 still on the car, so we'll grab those off.
I think these OEM ones are becoming harder to find. When you buy them, they only let you, it's 1 per customer. So
What do you mean, the whole set?
The whole set of grommets.
Really?
So if you need these guys, we'll put the part number.
Yeah, in the description.
Yep, in fact, I'll grab it. You can see it.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. We're kind of right there.
Here's the OEM.
For the B series, the good stuff.
Buy a couple of these, so you've got them.
One at a time, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're gonna grab the couple. Make sure you get all the spark plug tube seals. As you can see, 2 of these are still right here on the head. just a little pry, that'll come right off. So like I said, valve cover is off. We're going to take a sec, wipe any excess oil off the mating surface, which there was definitely right here, here. Sometimes that's from pulling it off, sometimes that's from
it leaking. Now, sometimes you have to scrape up like the Honda Bond or anything that's stuck on the head.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a sec here. You can see there's a little bit right here, and there is some right here and here. So take a look. A little bit of Honda Bond here, here, because that's where you put it. Gaskets are not perfect, so you usually want to put a sealant, you know, Permatex, Honda Bond, which we have on here in the corners to make sure that this will not leak. So we're going to do that, but we're going to first scrape all this junk up and go from there. So
all right.
Let me grab a razor. This is not the best way to do this. Usually they sell a little one out of these guys with a holder for this.
Okay.
I don't have it. I have this. I have
right.
this.
I trust you.
Oh, that's a terrible idea. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, my car's still running after 20 years, so we're good.
That's fair. Okay, so we scraped off all the old gunk. We have our new valve cover here. We have our brand new seals. We're going to leave the grommets in here for now. We'll set those on last. And we have our new valve cover gasket. So these are specific sided. You can usually tell because one corner usually has not quite as round an edge. But it looks like on this everything should be about the same. So I'm going to go ahead and start laying it in and seeing where stuff kind of lines up. If you run into an error, just make sure you kind of move the gasket around and see where everything's at. But it has this lovely little groove here on these. And like they even have like kind of bulging sides here on the gasket, which is nice to help hold it in place. Make sure we're not twisted. These guys do twist around. Make sure it's not. If it's twisted, it will leak. But you can see we have some flat bases. Everything's starting to kind of line up in, and we'll get the rest of this going.
So you can see what Indy was talking about, how this corner will flare right here. Kind of comes to a point where this corner here is
I think the easiest way on this actually is this has a nice fat tab right here.
Fat tabs.
This does not have fat tabs.
No fat tabs.
No fat tabs. Okay, so you can loosely press it in. Valve cover gaskets don't need to have a lot of tension on them. They don't have a lot of pressure under them. Okay, and there we go. So you can see from the easy alignments, this guy right here, this little tab, and then these corners on the timing belt side have these nice little edges, whereas the other side does not have those. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and throw our nice spark plug tube seals in. These are directional. I don't think you can put them in upside down. Don't try. I don't think anything good is going to come of it if you do. You know? So you can see it has this sort of lip here. And this goes just like that.
So lip side goes which way?
The lip side is going to be on the bottom like that.
On the head?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And these don't have any direction. You know, I know they have little indents, but that's really not super necessary.
Just molding marks?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so here we have some gray Honda Bond. I told Akira here that Permatex would be fine, but he's very OEM plus, so he wanted the Honda Bond. Which is fine, it's what Honda itself will use on your stuff. And also, it's silicone, put a glove on. Don't get it all over yourself. Okay, on your tube of Honda Bond, you'll notice there's a little nipple on this side. Pop this off because this is sealed, and just push the cap through. Twist.
Puncture the top.
Honda Bond. Okay, you do not want to put this everywhere. So you're just going to apply this to corners in particular. Both sides. Get your corners nice. And Honda Bond up. In fact, I think that's probably why they have this kind of like little fat edge here. You know what I'm talking about? On the gasket, probably for some Honda Bond. You don't need a lot. Do not go crazy. This is just ensuring that your seals in the corners are going to stay sealed.
So hypothetically, if someone's watching and they decide they want to put gasket sealer over the entire edge of the valve,
I wouldn't.
cover gasket.
I just wouldn't do it. But if you want to, please be very thin. You don't need a lot of sealant on these. Like I said, they do not have a lot of pressure on them, so you don't need to kill yourself with sealant. And that's literally all it takes. So you can see we just have the corners where the cams go and the actual corners of the gasket itself. So I'm gonna take this off. This is now garbage. But like I said, that's it. There's nothing that goes on the spark plug tube seals. There's nothing that goes in these flat areas. Nothing that goes around the actual cam cap itself. So like I said, while you're doing this, let it set. This stuff needs to bond, I think, for at least an hour minimum, 60 minutes minimum. The longer you can let it set, the better. If you can afford to let it set for longer, please do. But an hour will be fine, especially in our application. So we're gonna go ahead, flip this over, and just lay it down in place. I usually push on the corners, make sure it tries to really seal every spot you can. Okay? How good does that look?
Oh,
I love Type R valve covers, man. Okay, so we have our nice new little grommets here. So I'm just gonna go around. How good do those look?
oh.
No one ever buys brand new ones, man.
I mean,
This makes me really happy.
why wouldn't you when it's 80 bucks?
So we will reuse the original bottom guys for the centers, but then I did go grab our nice super sick black hardware for the others. If you're going to torque your valve cover, understand that this is in inch pounds and not foot pounds. When you're torquing these, tightening, I usually do corner to corner. That's it. Like, that is not much in terms of tightness. Like here, you can reach your hand in there. Feel how tight that is.
Okay.
That's
yeah.
it.
Cool.
It is not a lot. It does not need to be a lot.
You need to let the gasket do its job, right?
Yeah.
So this is not a case of as tight as you can get it before it gets loose again, right?
No.
Yes.
No, please don't do that.
No, no, no.
There we go. And when you're done, go through and double check. Take your calibrated torque wrench or wrist and just give everything a quick check, because they will move down and compress a little bit.
Yeah, as everything else gets tightened down, you might have a little more room on some corners.
And there we go. That's it.
Beautiful.
Because I want to say it now. That's the stuff. The way Honda should be.
Power dreams.
Power dreams. Okay, gave this a quick detail. This has one small imperfection. It's actually from my car. This was on my Del Sol.
So that was from it rubbing on the hood. Now, why would that happen?
It had a B20 VTEC.
And so B20s sit higher.
Yes. Then the B16s, yeah. Because it had a B16 in before. Another quick note for you guys. When you are putting this on, be gentle. What happens when you put these on too tight?
They warp.
Why do they warp?
Because it's carbon.
Well, no. Even the OEM ones warp.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember when I got my GSR swap done in the EK?
That's right.
It was warped because Brian used a little
An impact?
like an impact driver.
Yeah, you literally push down on one end, the other side would lift up like dramatically.
Yeah, so when you're putting these in, the valve cover is already tight from the bottom. This is literally just holding this nice, lovely piece in place.
Correct. That nut underneath, that's actually pressing on the OEM grommet to hold it down.
Exactly. And it's done. That's it. That's how to replace the valve cover and put a JDM Type R valve cover on your car. If you just need it for the valve cover gasket, that's still how you do it. Just without a sick wrinkle red valve cover. But man, that looks good. This is like quintessential 2000 Honda. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because like the Type R's came with the silver spark plug cover, and like the carbon just looks perfect. It is like the perfect touch to this valve cover. So that's how to replace your valve cover gasket if you need to do so on your car because it's leaking. That's it. Pretty much every car is about the same. Whether you have a Miata, 240SX, old Chevy V8, it's all pretty much the same stuff. You may not have to deal with spark plugs. Like I said, old Chevy V8, they just have valve covers showing on top. You don't really have to deal with all that. But that's it. So that's gonna do it for the video. Let me know down in the comments, you know, if you think 2000 era Hondas are sick, like super sick. Or if you had any questions about how to replace that valve cover gasket, anything you need to know about this car, let me know down in the comments below. And make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you in the next one. And we appreciate you guys.